once the court has ruled that you have to pay, other systems have to follow through to ensure that the court decision is followed up. What is the role of the Secretary of the Cabinet? What's the role of the Secretary of the Treasury? If it means that the ministers don't want to pay back the money, let the bailiffs move in and collect assets equivalent to the money that they owe. It's as simple as all that. It's as simple as implementing a court judgment. It's an order from the court of law. And Zambia is a democratic country which must believe in the rule of law. And once the Constitutional Court has made a decision, that's final. All that which has to happen is that everybody, including Chimbakambwili, must bring the money back to the National Treasury. As simple as that. Even Mwila, who failed his election in Luapula, whoever served as cabinet minister must retain the money back to the Treasury. It's as simple as all that.
Drivers that park their vehicles at a named car park in Kalingalinga compound woke up to a rude shock after thieves stole over 17 distributors and 4 batteries from the vehicles. The latest car spare parts theft confirms how rampant this trend is rising in most parts of Lusaka. Drivers narrate they draw back to Muvi TV News.
Twaripota ku polisi, apolisi tabeshire. Twaiwa bene twabatwala ku polisi, ba polisi atisanga bwele kuno bayo pa polisi, chamene bayo pa bene bakapaza tini bakadi. No kamba uti astinga bwele ko mbwele ko 12 hours. Mamotoka ya bewa yali 17, mabattery na madistributor. So ise tirira kuti kapena ikapaki baivale chabi. Shuka tibele wa daily. Kalemo dandaola. Chembo kapaki.
Tilina abana naye sedira mamotoka mene ya bati tifuna boma ilanganepo pali kapaki makapaki yonse ali best security
siba traffic motoka ikago amashita booking motoka na kubwera pasini then so bere wa wai batilekerera mwandisi wakawala landise tifuna tiziwe pamene hapo tapempako pamene bo tifuna mtuuzire bene wakapaki akuze ni bakambira but every day timalipira ndirama ngati talipira ndirama makuta
car parks whose main business is offering parking space at a fee should ensure that their clients' vehicles are secured, and whatever happens when they're under their custody, the management of the car park is responsible. Patrick Makai, Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
Residents around Olympia Township and Garden Compound have in the recent past complained of increased mosquitoes in their locations. This scenario has prompted the Lusaka City Council to embark on outdoor residue spraying program where they are spraying breeding grounds for adult mosquitoes such as streams and sewer ponds. 14 streams and 4 different sewer ponds will be sprayed in Lusaka City. Council Public Relations Manager Mlunda Habenzu explains more.
We have a lot of mosquitoes in Lusaka. We are receiving a lot of complaints from, shall I say, everywhere. But we tried to mobilize some local funds within the council to try and target certain places which we have discovered that they are breeding grounds. So instead of us doing the indoor residual spraying where we go door to door to spray, we thought we needed to control this from the places where they are breeding from. So that's the exercise that you have seen, which we have started. We are targeting those areas and also spraying where these adult mosquitoes are laying the eggs from, so that those eggs they don't hatch. So basically this exercise, we hope it continues as long as we're going to have the finances.
Dines Kamwaya, Muvi TV News, in Lusaka.
Fire has swept away goods worth millions of kwacha in Lusaka's Libala Township on Saturday morning. It is, however, believed that the fire started at about 08 hours and later spread to the warehouse, destroying various goods at Fortunate Lodge. A check by Muvi TV News found workers saving the remaining properties, as owner of the house was unavailable to give details of the incident. A ceiling board to the main house has also been destroyed. Meanwhile, Libala residents have this time around praised the fire brigade officers for its quick response to the emergency. Innocent Perry, Muvi TV News, in Lusaka.
Zambia has made strides in the improvement of maternal and child health care in both urban and rural areas. A few kilometers from the Congo border, Kambowa Rural Health Center in Masaiti district on the Copperbelt province is coming up with initiatives to ensure access to quality maternal and child health care services. It has been a trend that by the time of delivery approaches, pregnant mothers travel long distances to come to the health center, and mothers have to return home when it is a forced labor, as they do not have where to stay, thereby contributing to statistics of high home and unsafe deliveries. The community put their heads together and partnered with Planned Parenthood Association of Zambia PPAZ and the Japanese Organization for International Cooperation in Family Planning JOICEP in coming up with the maternity waiting house that will let mothers stay before and after delivery.
So ifwe na chuama ukutukulira kwe chichikulwa ukulingana nefyo lutampulo lw'abasimagirwa aba, so ifwe chiri cha kutusekesha sana pantu bwafya wabana mayo bwakupapira munshira na mumayanda nemfwa n'abana banono fyapwa nokukwatuchile fyapwa pantu natukula ubuyantanshimukwaye
kwale balimbi balefumina okutali munshira kyashupa takulina banasi bengafu ilishauri omuntu twale sangi kwa mafya yengi sana limbi banina batusha limbi umwana batusha so pali ifi batuleterako pali chichikulwa natutoterako ubu bwafya bwalachimfiwa
limbi echo twashutukako sana maternity yali chepa ngataka tukulabe nga twafuyishako kuchirako pale aba twafuyishe ko weti lumu kuti batwafuyishako maternity yaba kwati yakula pantu mwafe rumu imonga nabese bana maye babiri nangu batatu nishu bambi twala babika fye bambi okulolera no chita transfer kuisa kutaga ni baraka so
ifi fira lete nsansa na development community so uyu murimo batwaririre pa bamuneko na shimbi nchende ko abo kutari uko aba mafe ya musango uyu kwe bati benga bombera pa mukaitu atotera.
Speaking at the official launch of the house, Masaiti District Health Officer Dr. Evaristo Kunda said such a step is meant to reduce maternal mortality rate to 0 in the district.
Echicho twabona ko bati kantu akwata mother shelter ikatwa ofoko akuti mukubonoko bati infwa shabanyinefwe shachepanako.
Kafulafuta Member of Parliament Joseph Kabamba anticipates an increase in the numbers of women delivering at the health center.
Pregnant women, when they come to stay at the facility, they would utilize the maternity waiting house. When they are in established labor, they just walk 2 steps into the labor. The pregnant woman, when she moves into the labor, she's attended to by skilled personnel.
JOICEP Project Manager Aman Funabashi and PPAZ Director of Finance Musa Moyo praised the community's involvement in making of a dream come true for expectant mothers.
We have been encouraging them to utilize existing resources in the community. Finally, they started to mobilize the fund by the community people and considering to utilize this old facility as maternity waiting house.
Kambowa community has just demonstrated the change that we can see if all our projects can have such an approach.
Mike Mubanga, Muvi TV News in Masaiti, Copperbelt Province.
On Friday, Finance Minister Felix Mutacha unveiled the 2017 national budget. Next year's budget is a 64.5 billion kwacha budget. In presenting the national budget, the Finance Minister said the country will have to make hard choices and difficult decisions. Unity and hard work is a call that has been made by the minister. A consortium of civil society organizations in Lusaka convened and gave their brief analysis of the budget. Trevor Simumba says CSOs in the country will ensure that government implements progressive allocations that have been announced.
You know, we should be involved in maintaining checks and balances, and I think that's one of the biggest missing parts in this country for a long time. You know, it seems governments think that once they have the budget, they can do whatever they like to do in terms of how they execute that budget, and then we end up with this fiscal deficit because we're spending what we do not have.
And Civil Society for Poverty Reduction CSPR Executive Director Patrick Nshindano has noted that government would have done better in poverty reduction programs.
So if government is able to implement what is said in the budget, we will be able to see a better policy mix of these instruments and be able to achieve what one can call as a coherent development strategy. But the performance of 2016 clearly is not good. Bad is the word to use. Has not performed to anybody's expectation, mainly because of the huge budget deficit that the country has faced.
Expectation is high among civil society organizations on the implementation of the 2017 budget.
Just as much as we should focus on raising money from external sources, we should also focus on sealing the leakages. We've already shown, ActionAid and others, we've already shown that Zambia and other countries are losing at least twice as much money from illicit financial flows, from tax avoidance, tax evasion combined.
And one of the things we have observed from the budget that has been presented, we still seem to take the traditional way in terms of targeting sources or sectors where we can generate revenue. These would include even things like pay as you earn.
We are very keen to follow through in terms of implementation of some of the programs which have been funded under the social protection, such as the women empowerment programs and the social cash transfer and so forth. Why do we say so? We know that the challenge we have been having in this country has been around targeting, mainly due to political pressure. You find that the bulk of the beneficiaries, from the studies we have done as ActionAid and also as various NGOs.
The civil society organizations say this when they hosted Finance Minister Felix Mtati on the post-budget analysis.
So you who know, please help us on this matter. I like that idea. We have the money. So you're answering the how, isn't it? So you come through on Thursday so that we can begin to say, how do we convert this into a practical output? Even if we deal with in a narrow space, it doesn't matter, but we begin, isn't it?
Alexander Musogotwane, Muvi TV News in Lusaka.
Are these funds going to be managed efficiently and effectively without political interference? Because we need funds that will go to the private sector, not because you like the face of that person or because he comes from a certain part of the country or he supports a particular political party, but because his project proposal is good.
Immediate reaction to the 2017 national budget. This is a forum organized by economic financial analysts to discuss a 64.5 billion kwacha financial plan for next year. Finance Minister Felix Mtati was in attendance to answer questions from stakeholders and economic think tanks who dissected and punched holes to the budget. Mr. Mtati comforts anxiety among stakeholders over IMF by saying Zambians are the ones to be on top of the game as the IMF team visits Zambia in the first quarter of next year.
We must be responsible for the consequences of our decisions. So all the difficult decisions are going to be taken by you and me. When the IMF comes, there will be no conversation because we have done the job. We are not looking at them for resource because what they give is not that much. But we are saying that the combination of confidences, our confidence, their confidence, will generate enhanced confidence by the private sector, local and international, to help us move forward.
Economic Association of Zambia President Dr. Crispin Mpuka says budget deficit management has been a major challenge as far as fiscal discipline is concerned.
With such a deficit, I don't think the economy is on a sustainable path. And clearly, Honorable Minister, you, in the budget, you mentioned that 7% is the target for this year. The question is 7% a good target? When you are moving from 10 going to 7, maybe it looks justifiable because it looks attainable. But I think one would love to see the trajectory, maybe from an empty framework on where we would want to end. When are we going to reach 2%, for instance? Because 2% is almost the norm. If you want to run a budget deficit, it should be around 2 or 3%.
Meanwhile, financial analyst Noah Nkoma feels informal sector needs to be taken on board if national economic development was to be attained.
The people who have got the money are in compounds, and this is liquid cash, not the money that you keep on ATMs or what you call ATM cards. So I think if Zed and I were to consider reviewing this issue by looking at broadening the tax base by taxing the super wealthy, I think we will be now going or marching towards what we call an equitable tax system.
You can't be saying, no, she's been coming number three. You know, it's that same foolish analysis where you are in a class, somebody gets 80% and the second person gets 4%, and then you say, he came second best. Do you see the gap? And it doesn't make sense. You are third, you are coming out with 25,000 votes. That is one constituency across the country. You are not bringing numbers to the party. That is not a candidate who's going to win elections for us.
The infighting in opposition Forum for Democracy and Development has deepened. Early this week, the party suspended Bwalyangandu, chairman for Differently Abled, and Deputy National Secretary Kaluwasi Muyemba for gross misconduct. But Mr. Ngandu says he does not recognize the suspension, maintaining that the party leader, Edith Nawakwe, intends to manipulate the party constitution.
Even the last elections that she participated in, she wasn't eligible. We bent backwards because we thought we couldn't go to the convention and then go into an election. It was going to be so costly. As the National Policy Committee, we let her stand.
Meanwhile, Party National Chairperson Potifa Chungu justifies the action.
The Board of Trustees of the party are the ones that are the custodian of the Constitution. And they have made certain proposals which will be taken to the National Police Committee. And at that committee level, there will be people who will say, yes, we approve this, or no, we don't. And after that, then we take it to the convention. Nothing can happen. And let me say this. Edith Nawakwe has got nothing whatsoever with what everybody is saying.
He accused the duo of not being honest to the party.
Mr. Bwalyangandu was suspended for taking documents which he did not have, for impersonation. Okay? He took documents to the Registrar of Societies, which he should not have access to.
But you know, I'm a senior member of the party. I'm the chairperson for Differently Abled people. So it is my right as a member of the party to protect the Constitution.
Mwakandawa, Muvi TV News, Lusaka.